As we head into the last couple of weeks of this year and the days keep getting shorter and shorter, I wanted to talk about the inward direction that one must go in order to wake up. So I'd like to begin with a quote by Carl Jung. The other day I went searching for a quote by him because I was writing something about the unconscious, I was writing something about the shadow, and I found this quote and it really resonated with me. So here it is. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. So here we are, headed into the darkest time of year in terms of the amount of sunlight that's available. And human beings, what do? We get out all our pretty lights. Don't we? It's no coincidence. There's an archetypal process going on that, in my humble opinion, really doesn't have anything to do with any religion. It's just that it's the shortest days of the year. And so we celebrate this. We celebrate this by, as I said, bringing out the lights. Maybe we didn't do that, in the exact same way 300 years ago. So this is the direction then for you and spiritual awakening that you need to head in. You need to head into the darkness and make it conscious. Heading into that which has not been seen. And the essence of doing this, of heading into that which has not been seen, has really two parts. It's about examining ego through self-inquiry. It's about understanding what I call the identity personality project is up to at all times. And when one really does this, when one really has a grasp of the mind and the mechanisms by which it plays itself out, and ego, it's not pleasant. There's a meeting of shadow, there's a resistance. It's not pleasant to really fundamentally discover what ego is up to at all moments. And this is a beautiful thing, to discover this. And then you begin to loosen the grip that it has upon you. So herein lies the gift of going into this darkness. Just like there are gifts at Christmas. You can't get to Christmas without going into these shortest, darkest days of the year. And so the awakening process is the same way. You don't get to awakening, you don't get to enlightenment without going into the darkness. And the way to the darkness is a part of it is uncovering ego, is dismantling it, is taking it apart. I've already mentioned this in another video. The other half of this is doing so in a process or in a crucible. It's a word I've used recently. Where you're supported, where you're safe, where there's good energy, where there are others that can that help you with this process. The light becomes stronger, or bad choice of words there. The consciousness by which you are uncovering this darkness becomes stronger. You're not just there on your own. I'm adamant regarding this process, that you just don't sit alone at home and philosophize your way to awakening. I didn't. And yes, I'm adamant also about what I do and the work that I provide relative to the online course that I teach and give as a way of doing this. Because it works. Because it's the thing to do. This is what I did. There's a small percentages of us out there that can do this work of seeing ego, of going into the darkness alone the entire way. But that's not what this teaching is about. Blue-collar enlightenment is not about that. You're probably not the next Ramana Maharshi. Saint, avatar, whatever. You're probably going to need some support. You probably have obligations and families and friends and work and all the rest of that. So, yeah, there's a metaphor for this time of year. This Christmas season and the direction that we, on an outward level, that we're taken in, whether we like it or not, takes us towards the shortest day of the year into the holidays. And all sorts of things come up for a lot of people around the holidays, good and bad, right? And so the awakening process is exactly the same. We're heading into the metaphorically, the shortest. We're going into our interiors and we're finding the shortest day without the light. We're not adding light. We're going into the dark and we're making it conscious. And it's uncomfortable. But you'd be surprised how that passes quickly. How by doing so, you uncover all the gifts of the process. So the awakening process is not an argument. It's not something you can, as I said earlier, philosophize yourself into. You're not going to think your way out of this box. It really is a matter of the heart. And of courage. And of your willingness to no longer endure, to put up with the suffering that is caused by this darkness that one carries around. So we go and we make it conscious. I could talk forever about this. Amongst all of my teacher friends, this is probably half of the time of what we spend teaching. No, you're not adding light. You're not trying to perfect yourself. You're not trying to... The word enlightenment is such a misnomer. That's why I call it blue-collar enlightenment, because it knocks it down a level or two. You're not adding light. going into the darkness and you're making it conscious. You already are the light. You're as light as you're going to get. Awareness, consciousness, the one dreamer, you're already that. You can't add anything to it. You can't make it shinier, happier, bigger. It is what it is, and you're experiencing it right now. Except you've got a whole bunch of darkness that's kind of in the way. You've got a bunch of walls and blocks and crud that we need to get out of the way. And that's what this is. This is the awakening teachings are an invitation to move this stuff out of the way. And then you discover that there is a Christmas present underneath this tree that is an ongoing, permanent, unconditional Christmas present. I think I've spoken about this enough for today. So again, I'll leave with this great quote by Carl Jung. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And this is the invitation of Blue Collar Enlightenment and the Blue Collar Enlightenment course. So leave a comment. Tell me about what the holidays mean to you. What meeting this darkness means to you. Happy to talk back and forth with you. And think about what you'll be doing January, February, March. Think about whether or not you'd like to really truly dive deep into this. Because the next course is coming up. We have two great co-teachers lined up at this point. Brian Paragrossi, and then a guest teacher, Will Pye, and there's going to be a second guest teacher. So it should be fun, it should be intense, and it should be everything that, as teachers, we can offer to you to make this darkness conscious and to get you headed in the right direction. Okie doke. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.